All right, this past week, I got to realize just how addicted, or more accurately, dependent on fasting I am. I had two very important phone calls to make, and one of the phone calls, the caller needed to call me back to follow up. And he told me he'll be calling me over the next few days, but he didn't commit on a day, which made it challenging. Because when I make important phone calls to prospective clients or at a job interview or anything that's high stakes, I like to fast before I get into that conversation. And right now as I speak, I'm not in a fasted mood, so maybe we can see how I do. Most of my videos are in fasted states, so this one not. But I got the call, and unfortunately I wasn't in a fasted state. And let's just say the call could have been handled a little bit better. I've learned that I sometimes talk too much. I made the mistake at my current job. I'm an adjunct professor for a technical college. My first year at the job, I took a vacation to somewhere that my coworkers might not approve of. And as soon as I came back, everything slid downhill. I became very alienated from my colleagues as a result. It took many years to make up for that little bit of a mistake. And I've learned to listen to other people before I talk and try to agree with them, right? Politically or religiously or whatever the case is. But get their view first, right? So obviously it goes without saying these last 2 years, there's one contentious subject. You know, some people think it's a hoax, other people think it's the end of the world. And then aside from that, there's also issues revolving around that subject that could also be contentious, or whether or not we should mandate people take this pharmaceutical product, whether or not we need to cover various parts of our bodies. That was also very contentious over the last 2 years, right? Right now, as I speak in 2022, there's a contentious subject revolving around two countries, right? Actually, three countries, and try to get a sense of where people. See, I had one student who. She's from one of those countries. I can tell you that region. I didn't know which one though, and when she said that she was a little concerned for her family, I had to resist the temptation to talk too much about it. I just said, well, wish you all well, right? And to this day, I still don't know what country she's from, but that's okay. That's okay. I've learned to listen more. And when I'm in a fasted state, I find that I'm a lot less talkative. When I'm full and you know I got a full stomach, I got a lot of energy on my hands. Oh my God, yada 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 yada, right? And I'll just talk nonstop. And unfortunately, I had to practice not being able to be ready for that, right? At a job interview this week where the caller decided he wanted to control when he wanted to call, right? Usually I like to fast. Now the other problem is that when I do meet up face-to-face to interview, a lot of times, a lot of those interviews surround a meal. Now that creates two different problems. One, I do very well in my fasted state, and number two, it forces me to disclose a bunch of issues that I would hope to not disclose at a first job interview, right? So dietary preferences, health conditions, religious issues. It forces me to disclose that, right? And you might say, well, what's the point? If you and your boss are not going to agree on those subjects, maybe you should work somewhere else. That's what my friend tells me. I disagree with that. I mean, yes, we do need to match on those things, but those don't need to be your first impression of somebody, right? And so that's that. But it really made me realize just how dependent I am on fasting. And last year I got really good at fasting. This year I hope to get really good at eating and being okay with it.